Welcome to Undercomplicating Stuff, where we, two psychologists and coaches with over 40 years of combined experience, share our insights to help undercomplicate important topics. Friendly reminder that this video is meant for conversational and entertainment purposes only. Please see the information section of this video for additional resources. Dr. Gedian, introduce yourself.
Thank you, Julie. I'm Stacey Gedian. I'm a health psychologist and the owner of a healthcare consulting and professional coaching business. And how about you, Dr. Radico?
I'm a psychologist, a coach, an author, and a speaker. Our question today is a really interesting one, and it's a word that you hear a lot in the common zeitgeist. Like you hear it on social media a lot, all over the internet. What does gaslighting mean? Where would you start with that?
I agree that I see this a lot and I'll have clients talk about it a lot. And it really is important to understand if that's truly what's happening or if it's something that's a subtle disagreement. And when
Mhm.
we, as professionals, think of gaslighting, we think of a persistent pattern where someone's really trying to make you, or you are starting to question your reality and your memory. And you may start thinking, well, no, I swore that we were going to do this on this day, and the person's maybe insisting, no, it was another day, or having you doubt what you're seeing, what you're remembering. And it actually comes from a book and then a movie, Gaslit, where a husband is sort of trying to unsettle his wife and make her think she's kind of losing it and literally adjust the flame on the gas lamps and then denies that he did it.
Mhm.
And so yeah, that's where it comes from and it just seems to get overused in ways where it's not really appropriate.
Typically, gaslighting somebody has a definition and it's really purposeful and trying to have you start to doubt yourself, doubt your ability to be able to trust that you are standing on firm ground when you're saying something and you're recalling information or recalling what you agreed to do. And it is one of those terms that can get tossed around as if you feel like someone's disagreeing with you, or you don't like the point they're making, or you feel just attacked in general, you might say, "Oh, you're gaslighting me." And that might be like a okay protective thing in the moment. I think we would encourage for people to think really deeply though about the language you use and the meaning behind it so that you are able to advocate for yourself in the way that is most meaningful. Because if there's some other root to the problem, then you want to be able to figure out what that is. That leads me to think about like what would make somebody gaslight somebody else? And I'm mindful that we could talk about gaslighting in professional settings. We could talk
Mhm.
about gaslighting in personal settings. So this sounds like the story of where this term came from was describing a intimate partner relationship where, it's a husband and a wife. You can be gaslit by anybody in any situation where you have an ongoing interaction and the person who is doing the gaslighting is trying to make you feel like they are in more control of the situation and so that you're doubting your capabilities and maybe that in a professional setting, like why might they do that? They then might get promoted before you, or
Mhm.
they might be able to be the firmer authority figure if you're standing like on the same level, well, don't go to Julie because she clearly doesn't know what's going on. She forgot to do this. So there might be some gain here that the person who's doing that gaslighting is perceiving that what they're doing is going to get them ahead. What other nuances do you feel like would be important for people to think about?
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, and I view it as another form of manipulation.
Mm,
So the person is trying to, as you said, gain power, control, maybe leverage. They also may want to avoid accountability. So let's say you're working with someone on a project for work, and they're not doing their part of what
mm,
what they said that they would do, and then they may start saying things to you like, well, no, you said you were going to do that, or someone else was supposed to be responsible. So it can also be used for people to avoid accountability. And
Mm.
but underlying it, it's manipulation. It's something that is meant to allow that person to get what they want at your expense.
I wonder if others listening had the same reaction to me of like, think about a group project that you've been on where you were like, oh man, I have to take on more of this workload than I thought I was going to. That might not be gaslighting, but I just was like, oh, memories. So yeah, and it's hard to know on the outside sometimes if you're being gaslit,
Yeah.
like purposely, the things that that person might be doing or saying are meant for you to doubt yourself. So you might then question, oh, was I supposed to tell everybody about that meeting we had? Was I supposed to sign that permission slip? Oh, was it my job to make sure that the slides were in order for our group project? Those those things can really like sometimes if you're not purposely tracking or like, everybody's doing things and saying things together, you might like it might breed opportunity for you to start to really doubt yourself. So one of the strategies I think of is I encourage people to, and I'm just going to use the kind of like fun term that's out there, like keep your receipts. Like keep receipts for things that happen. So, for example, if you were asked to do something at work, and then that person says, "Oh no, I told you to do it this way," and you're like, "Wait, was it me? Did I get it wrong?" Do you have an email chain, like a thread that's telling you, "No, here it is in writing," and maybe that could reaffirm for you I was wrong. I messed up. Or it could say, nope, yep, I got it. So, like, trying to keep receipts as much as you possibly can to help test your own reality in these situations. What might you add?
I think those are great suggestions, and I actually recommend that for a lot of meetings that people might have at work to sort of debrief and take notes because you just kind of never know. But certainly,
Mm,
if you're thinking there's a pattern going on. And another thing I'm reminded of is the term that you use in other videos of spidey senses. So
mm,
if you're noticing internally, it just doesn't seem to be sitting well. And believe me, we all want everybody to be insightful and look inward and own what is yours. But then also realizing when it's not yours.
mm,
And it oftentimes starts out very subtly. Rarely is it a full-blown sort of attack on your sense of reality. It's insidious. It builds slowly.
mm,
And keeping those notes, talking to a loved one, talking to a colleague who was maybe in that same meeting, what do you recall happened there? And those can be ways to at least sort of figure out if you are the one that is being manipulated, or in fact there are a lot of things you're missing, which would be a whole different thing going on. And so
mhm.
getting that reality check with other people as well as yourself by keeping those receipts, I think are great places to start.
Yeah, the reality testing with others, I think so important. One, to like get empathy and support, but also to really talk it through and to say, hey, am I misunderstanding something here? Like to really be objective about what's going on. If you find out that like this is the case, somebody in your sphere is is gaslighting you, then it might be really important for you to be strategic in how you want to interact with that person. If you, and this depends on the level of the relationship.
Mhm.
So if this is your partner, then you're going to really need to utilize your support system to figure out, maybe talk to a coach, a therapist, like figure out what's going to be a healthy step as you start a journey to like either helping them change that behavior or setting really firm, healthy boundaries in that relationship, or maybe ending that relationship. Like this can go a lot of different ways and what feels best for you. If it's a professional setting, a fantastic strategy, if you can make it happen, is to have other people around you when you're interacting with that person. Try as much as possible not to have one-on-ones. And if you can't avoid that, then asking to have the door open. If somebody else can be around listening, or asking if you could record the Zoom meeting, the interaction to say, hey, it's for my notes, but so that you also are, again, are keeping receipts that are helping you feel safe. Not that they're, oh, I gotcha, I caught you at like, that might not be really productive and it might not keep you safe, but to be able to stand in your truth of, well, no, this is the reality of what happened. And I don't feel safe without having somebody else there or this being recorded, whatever it might be. But really making sure that you're doing things that are healthy for you.
I would add to that too. Again, people can be quite manipulative. So if you're in a work setting and this person knows that you always want to have at least a third party, they may purposely catch you in the hallway or at a time
Mm,
that is unexpected. And
mm,
one strategy you can do then is do a follow-up email. You know, just want to make sure I have this right. When we chatted earlier today, you said X, I said Y, we'll send it to Z. And then that way, again, you're creating that receipt that, that you've had this
mhm,
conversation. They can either say yes or no. And it feels kind of icky to have to collect all of these things. However, if truly someone is manipulating you in that way, you will be very thankful that you kept that information for a variety of
mhm,
reasons. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah. So keep receipts and make receipts. Make those receipts and keep them. Like the other thing that I encourage people to do around this is trust yourself.
Mm,
So, like, if you're getting, that spidey sense is going off, like, trust yourself and then stick to the boundary that you set.
yeah.
So, if you are saying, I cannot have a meeting unless somebody else is present, stick to that. And yes, like you're saying, they might catch you in the hall, but you are not scheduling meetings, like formal meetings, without somebody else being present. And as much as you can, like in any setting, if you set a boundary, you set a parameter, stick to that. Otherwise, what that person learns, whether or not you realize that this is what they're learning or not, is they might learn that, oh, well, if I bug her 7 times,
Mm,
then I get to have my way. I get to have that meeting one on one, and then I can like gaslight. Or oh, if I text 25 times, then she will respond. Like
right?
these are things, and this is called for people who are like really nerdy about like the variable ratio reinforcement. It's this idea that like, oh, if I know that I ask this person for something, or I want this from this person, and they say no once. Okay, well, I might try again. If they say no twice, oh, okay. If they cave on the third time, I've learned that, oh, I just got to ask more times. And sometimes that turns into, well, what if it's not the third time, but it's the 20th time? Maybe it's the 33rd time. Maybe it's the 400th time that I bug this person. Like, and that is sticky in our brains. Humans crave and do that. So just know whatever boundary you're going to set, stick to it.
If a friend disagrees with you or a coworker, it's not automatically gaslighting. People
Mm.
are allowed to have different opinions. They're allowed to even question a previous conversation you may have had. So we're not talking about everyday interactive human behavior. We're talking about patterns and manipulation for gain. And that can be tricky to parse out. But I think that's an important takeaway. And also, it might be that someone did forget something, and that's okay too. It again doesn't mean that they were purposely trying to make you guess or doubt rather your reality. They honestly forgot that you picked one day and they thought it was another day. So making sure that you're looking for these patterns and the goal is manipulation to control or avoid accountability. And that's really what gaslighting means.
Yeah, fantastic points. So, if this topic resonated with you, please share it with somebody that you care about. Also, please comment, like, subscribe. You can message us on our YouTube channel or our LinkedIn pages with suggestions of questions that you'd like us to discuss in future episodes.